What's up guys, welcome back to this tutorial again. So in this tutorial I want to show you how to test for two conditions using the decisions. So we'll be talking about like if else, whatever. So in this tutorial I want to show you like a very basic, but I want to use a particular story. Like yesterday night I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a teacher too, and told me like we need a place teacher for our school, and I say we gotta go get teachers because there are so many graduates who are outside there that have no job. So you're gonna look for them and make them one of the teachers and say, no, what a teacher who can make a program for us. So you mean a teacher to make a program? I am a teacher to teach students make program. Or you want a teacher who makes programs? So I say, whatever I can do. So I say, okay, tell me all the problems. And he told me that he was once introducing a policy in the school, and the policy was any student who stays a school item, takes it home and does whatever, destroys anything of anything belonging to school should not graduate. And I say, what? Say, yeah. Say, okay, so what do you want? So like anyone who steals anything for the school should not graduate, and anyone who has been receiving so many suspensions and has less study hours, like for a week, maybe that student studies less for a week, should have a report. Say that the students are lazy, something of the sort. So I say, okay, I want to work on it. And say, no, you should work on it. And say, okay, just go and want to work on it. But I say, no, I must wait and witness what you're gonna do. And let's say, okay, I got into coding, and this is why I got into coding. Whatever you may see is what I was coding. So I declared some variables and say my first variable is integer study hours, and say is equals to 10. Let me say is equals to 70. Is equals to 70. Alright, and so because here I said the expression was at least 10 hours. That was the condition that he gave me. And I said the next condition was int mistakes so equals to 0. Say not above 0 misses. Alright, so say, oh, that's so much strict in the school. If this is a system that is being if it is a system that is being used in schools, then it's pretty much tricky for people to understand. And I say, okay, this is what you're gonna do. Then they try and do it out. So let's check out. And I say, okay, let me get in the develop my program, and I say I wanna do it. So if, and I say, now here we're testing for two conditions. So right, so wherever you're testing for two conditions, I say you must have that one, give yourself enough space to work with it, and add another brackets and say the study hours, you copy this one, how import it here and say is greater than or equals to 10. So at least 10 hours you can go to that class, you can graduate in that particular class of that week. And say we add another one and say, of course here I want the mistakes. So the mistakes here we say is exactly equals to 0. Yeah, exactly equals to 0. Above 0 mistakes you don't graduate. So like we say, and we're gonna print a function and say you are amazingly, so you say you're amazingly good graduated. Right, so that is similar we're gonna be giving. So like if the student studies for at least 10 hours and makes 0 mistakes, then the student automatically graduate. Right, so let's check. And what if we're testing for so this program is incomplete? What do we need to do to ensure that your program works efficient? So if we want the two tests to be exactly true, then what we need is to double ampersand. So wherever we add this one, that means that this test here must be true, and this one must be true for us to get this code functioning. So let's try it before we proceed to something else. I have no problems. What will be this? Let me say Okay, say like I'm not having the logs. Let me check on the logs and find out what could be the problem. Okay, this one just full of components, like it requires us to have something beside this one. Let's do away with this one. Of course we know what we're required to have, so we can do away with this. So it's working okay. So let's check out and see whether what expecting is what is gonna output. We're expecting no student to mess up at all and to at least study for 10 hours a week. That will be pretty much okay, because if your student does not study for 10 hours a week, that means that is a professional absentee, and we don't encourage that in any institution. Of course, that is laziness. So you are amazingly good, graduated. So you can see, what if we say that this one did at least one mistake? Let's just say one mistake. So like, and studied for, let's say 90 hours a week, and say, oh, so this one, or let's say 80, and not be 90 hours a week, it's too much. Say 80 hours a week, and just made some student was much impatient and disturbed him until he finds himself beating up, or just took a pen of a friend, or just broke the locker. Whatever happened, something happened. Maybe stepped on the teacher. You never know. So if that happened, then don't expect this student to graduate. Of course, they're gonna output nothing. Nothing absolutely gonna be output, because the test condition must be completely true. The study was true that above 5, but what about the mistakes? They're above 1, so no result. You could see it. So guys, maybe say let's say else if, okay, we are now putting this into practical experience. Let's say else if, let's just take this one and copy this one, or because what we have, come here and paste it here is okay, and I say this one and I replace it with all. Alright, so you try this one and see. When you use that all is the symbol above the backward slash, and say if that's the case, then we say I'm gonna copy this one and come paste it here and say lazy student, lazy student can't graduate. So like, yeah, this is a lazy student, then you cannot graduate. Simple. If you're lazy, you can't graduate. So let's build around this one. Say mistake is 1, but the student was still standing, but something happened and he found himself stepping on a friend's car when we were taking breakfast. So the mistake was recorded as mistake as 1, but it still is good. It takes time to be in class, study a lot, but just because the other student pulled the barrel behind her, he found himself stepping on it, and that was the mess. Second, so let's see, not lazy, because the decision is wherever you do a mistake, you are lazy. Lazy student can't graduate. So you can see, reason is if study hours is above 10, alright, and mistakes are 0, then something happens, of course. So that's a very simple way to put this code. I know it's a bit challenging on how you're doing about the second part of else if study hours are greater than 0, or mistakes is equals to 0. Study hours above 10, mistakes equals to 0. We're printing a lazy student. So here what is happening in the second test is study hours are above 10 and say like, oh, so this student is not good. But let's now correct on this statement. I want to just copy this one. And add 3 lines so that the statement can be easy for you. And then let me just copy the whole of this, alright, and paste it here. I want to delete this one. Alright, so this is what I want to do. Here we say that if study hours are above 10 or mistakes, we can say tried but just graduate. Alright, so that's the message you are giving. And here we say lazy student cannot graduate. Alright, so here we say we're gonna use an Amazon. So here you don't have to use any of those signs and say don't need this else if completely. So let me try to explain this code before I run it. For the first test here, for this first test, we say that if and only if study hours are above or equals to 10 and only if mistakes are exactly 0, then you can print you are amazingly good, graduated. Else, if study hours are greater than or equals to 10 or mistakes are equals to 0 but the study hours can be less than 10, then you print tried but just graduate. Else, the student is absolutely lazy, then lazy student can't graduate, of course. So I want to be changing for the second option. I want to be changing 10 and mistakes. So let's check out and see this. First I run. One mistake, 80 study hours. What do you expect? Tried but just graduate. That is what we are all expecting here. Tried but just graduate. If something else happen, kindly take me out of this tutorial because I'm going to be lying to you. So let's wait. Slow, but when I give you the correct information. Tried but just graduate. Of course, this is what it means. Either of this one or this one is true. Then if any is true, you print this one. If any is true, alright, either, it is either, that's why I'm using or. Either study hours are greater than or equals to 10 or mistakes are exactly equals to 0, then you can do that. Either or. That for the second option. For the first option, all the conditions must be true for you to get what we're talking about. And lastly, for the last one, let me give this one to 0. Let me give to 9 hours. All right, and I give a mistake to 0. So a mistake here is 0. All right, a mistake here is 0. And let's run. Still, you're gonna see that it's gonna print tried but just graduate. Tried but just graduate, because either study hours are greater than or equals to 9 or mistakes are exactly equals to 0. So you have 0 mistakes but the study hours are less than 10. Still you can graduate because you are at discipline. So you are graduating on the advantage of being disciplined but not the advantage of you studying enough time in class. Alright, so let's see. We're gonna pop up on the output window. You are amazingly good, graduated. Reason being, now this one has defined our this one has defined our success condition. So like this one, you are amazingly good, graduated. Reason being, here the study hours are above 80, you can see, and study hours. Okay, now we messed up here. This is where it's supposed to give 9. Alright, sorry for that. We give here 9, and here we say it just remains to 10. Right, it just remains to be 10. I think this is the correction we are taking. We are doing. So it is 9. If the study hours are 9, then you don't expect to see this student being amazingly good. Of course, he was amazingly good previously. You can see how programs 2 is making a decision according to how you have programmed it, so the computer can choose what is right. Whereas let's check out this one, because this student studied 9 hours but he has 0 mistakes. What do we expect? Expect the student to just graduate. Try to be this student at least, but was not consistent in the class. Try to be disciplined. So tried, but just graduate, because he was disciplined. He had 0 mistakes. Okay, so what if here we have 9 and here we have 1 mistake? Nevertheless, a less mistake, do not graduate. What could be the problem? The student is absolutely less, and this I can agree with it, that this student must be absolutely lazy. How can you study for less 9 hours and you still make mistakes? That's not interesting at all. And a student who reaches that level should be facing my disciplinary committee, of course. So let's see this one. Slow, but I know they're gonna pop up well. So we expect less student can't graduate. Let's check out on this. Lazy student can't graduate. So guys, I hope you have understood, and I'll explain it once more. When you use this ampersand, it means this ampersand means this test condition here and this test condition here must be true for you to get this output. For this second, either this test condition or this one has to be true for you to get this output. And lastly, if none of the conditions is true, then you go for the default. So guys, I hope you're taking something. You still have to make many programs somehow, but this is just a practical experience. So guys, whatever you are in school, don't make mistakes. You never know the criteria that the administration may be using to punish those who make a lot of mistakes, because now the world is changing. No one can beat you up. There's an old-fashioned way of disciplining someone. So guys, thank you for watching. Remain disciplined. Subscribe, like this video, share to your friend, and invite them to learn with you. So much grateful to be with you up to this particular moment. Thank you so much. Let's meet in the next tutorial, guys. Bye for now. See you later.